Home sales are about to nosedive and we're already at very low levels. So for example, based on a new report just announced today, pending home sales, a measure of closed home sales in the next 1 to 2 months, fell to all-time record lows. This is despite the fact that inventory has been rising. So we're seeing supply rising, but home buying demand, sales, and pending sales actually falling. So here's a report. I made a video about this about a week ago regarding the existing home sale market, regarding sales, inventory levels, and home prices. This was from the National Association of Realtors, just posted on May 22nd. So existing home sales decreased by 1.9% in April compared to the previous month, and also down by the same amount compared to April of 2023. What's wild about this is that we're basically on track right now to have a lower amount of home sales this year compared to last year. And in 2023, we were at a 28-year low regarding closed home sales. So it's pretty remarkable to see that we're seeing rising inventory, yet we're seeing sales at these very, very, very low levels. Also in that video I mentioned, I said that inventory has been increasing. And here is a look at that according to Realtor.com. So for April, there's 734,000 houses for sale. 1 year ago, 562,000. Inventory has been increasing, yet sales are decreasing. Of course, I have a lot more to share in today's video, but this video took me literally hours to make due to all the research involved because I want to give you my own take regarding their data. Because when reading NAR's press release just announced on May 30th regarding pending home sales, no mention whatsoever that their index fell to the lowest levels on record, and their data goes back to 2001. In any case, regarding pending sales, this is a look at their pending home sale index, or their PHSI. It is seasonally adjusted, making it easier to compare month-to-month changes. In any case, this is a forward indicator because this is based on a sales contract signed between a buyer and a home seller. So pending home sales in April compared to the previous month fell by 7.7%. On top of that, this is not just one area in which sales are decreasing. We're seeing this across all 4 major regions. So it says all 4 US regions registered month-over-month and year-over-year decreases. And here's a look at that right here. The Northeast, the Midwest, the South, and the West all falling compared to the previous month and also compared to April of 2023. Also compared to last year overall for the nation, down by 7.4%. Something that caught my attention as well is that, again, these numbers are seasonally adjusted. So they're accounting for the fact that sales tended to increase during the spring home buying season, and therefore they decrease during the winter months, right? So they do a seasonal adjustment in order to compare, month-to-month changes. But what really caught my attention is this right here. This area is not seasonally adjusted. So what tends to happen in April compared to March? Anyone? I mean, it's like, it's kind of laughable because, in April, we tend to see an increase in contracts being signed between buyers and sellers because we have the peak of our housing market during the spring home buying season. Yet despite that, compared to March, pendings decreased by 0.8%. Also, like I mentioned, we have all-time record lows for their index at 72.3. That's the lowest level since at least January of 2001, as far back as our data goes, if we exclude April of 2020. So back in April 2020, obviously that was when we had stay-at-home orders. Myself as a real estate agent in Sacramento, I wasn't even able to leave my house, let alone look at houses with my clients. So excluding April of 2020, this is a new all-time record low. Also, looking at investing.com on their economic calendar, you can see over the past 5 years that their index regarding sales contracts being signed between buyers and sellers have been going down really ever since the early part of 2022. And we have very, very low levels compared to the peak of 2021 and 2020. In addition to that, looking at the month-to-month change, down 7.7%. This is well below the forecast, which was calling for a decrease of 1.1%. But on top of that, to make matters even worse, the previous reading, that was February compared to March, saw a gain of 3.6%. So in 2 months, we went from a gain of 3.6 month to month. Now it's down 7.7%. Going back to NAR's press release, here's what Lawrence Yoon, NAR's chief economist, had to say. The impact of escalating interest rates throughout April dampened home buying, even with more inventory in the market. But the Fed's anticipated rate cut later this year should lead to better conditions with improved affordability and more supply. But again, no mention whatsoever regarding their index fell to all-time record lows. No mention whatsoever in this press release. So let's have a look at my own data. My own analysis of their data. So here is where I pulled their numbers from their website. Actually, I did this for like 2 years ago, but I just add to this each and every month. Everything else on this document is my own analysis. Anyways, for April, again, we're at 72.3, an all-time record low. Last month, it was a 13-month high. So pretty crazy to see this volatility. So in March, we're at a 13-month high. Now we're at basically a 23-year low. In my opinion, this is likely due to the increase in mortgage rates. So the average 30-year fix for April increased to 6.99% according to Freddie Mac. That was a small gain compared to, I believe it was around 6.7% back in March. Actually, just don't take my word for it. Let's say I'll have a look at that. Yeah, 6.8% back in March. So rates have been increasing really ever since February this year, rising to 6.99% on average for the month of April. So there's that, but also we have all-time record highs for home prices. So therefore, this is kind of like a double whammy for buyers. We have record high home prices, rising interest rates, and therefore this is, in my opinion, why we have all-time record lows for pending home sales. Also, as I mentioned right here, we have all-time record lows excluding April of 2020. Back then, their index was about 71.6. Obviously, this is more, COVID, the onset of COVID related than anything else. But excluding that one single month, the all-time record lows going back to 2001, it's actually even worse than the Great Recession. Let's just look at that real quick. Back during the Great Recession, let's look at 2008, which starts right here through the end of the year. Every single month, the index was actually over 80. In 2009, which is right there, every single month also over 80 as well. Now we're actually well below that. Their index is at 72.3 right now. But wait, there's more, because when looking at the changes compared to 12 months ago, the index has decreased in 33 out of the past 35 months. So we basically have had like 3 years of decreases on a year-over-year basis, excluding 2 months. It has only increased twice since June of 2021. Therefore, sales have been sinking to extremely low levels for quite some time. I think it's fair to say we have a crash in home sales, but we have all-time record highs in home prices. So very interesting dynamics. Huge crash in sales, yet we're seeing home prices surging to all-time record highs, and that's for existing houses. However, this is not as bad as the 21% decrease in April of 2023. So this year it fell by 7.4%. But last year, it decreased by 21.1% compared to April of 2022. Having said that, this decline in April is actually worse than historical averages and also worse than April of 2018 and 2019. And let's have a look at that. The median April year-over-year change going back to 2010, based on my nerdy Excel formula there, is a decrease of 1.2%. Not nearly as bad as what happened this April, down by 7.4%. Same goes for the month-to-month change, down 7.7% compared to March, whereas the median number is actually a small gain of 0.1%. I also added this as well, looking at what happened this April compared to pre-COVID levels. So looking at that, their index has decreased by 32% from April 19 and down 33% from April of 2018. So all these factors here are telling me that we have, a extremely low level of contracts being signed for the resale market of existing houses. And therefore, because this is a leading indication of closed home sales in the next 1 to 2 months, this is telling me we're going to see a very low level of closed home sales in the next coming months. And again, this is despite the fact we have more inventory right now compared to last year, and also the highest level since October of 2022, based on data from NAR. So one thing I want to mention, I have been saying we have a tale of two entirely different markets because existing home sales have been kind of faltering, to say the least, going down, whereas we're seeing an increase in new home sales. But this April, they're more or less in line, which is pretty interesting. So for example, pending sales of existing houses are counted more or less the same way of sales of brand new home construction reported by the US Census Bureau. This is because the Census Bureau defines a sale as when a sales contract is being signed between a builder and a home buyer. So it's really not a closed home sale. It's really the time frame when the offer is accepted, just like existing houses. I mentioned that because in April, pending sales decreased by 7.4% compared to April of 2023 for existing houses. Compare this to a 7.7% decrease in the new home construction industry. Also compared to the previous month, this is March compared to April, pending sales fell by 7.7% for existing houses, whereas new home construction sales decreased by 4.7% for the same time frame. And that's based on this right here from the US Census Bureau, down 4.7% month to month and down nearly 8% year over year. And here's another way to look at this: existing home sale market faltering, and also new home construction also going down as well. So in my opinion, we're seeing this interesting dynamics occurring, right? It appears that home buyers are feeling the crunch due to elevated rates and record high home prices. Also, home builders' incentives being offered to home buyers seem to be working less effectively compared to previous months. What is absolutely entirely different for the resale market of existing houses compared to new home construction is supply levels. So here's a look at inventory according to Realtor.com. This is on our good Uncle Fred's website. This data goes through July of 2016. So as you can see right here, we have 734,000 houses for sale. 1 year ago, we were at 562,000. So we have more inventory right now compared to last year, but we have approximately 40% less compared to pre-COVID levels because inventory was over 1 million units every single month prior to the onset of COVID. Actually, to be accurate, we had 2 months, which was January and February of 2020, in which inventory levels were below 1 million units. But clearly, we had a high level of inventory compared to what we're seeing right now. Looking at supply levels of brand new houses for sale, night and day difference, right? We have the highest level since I think it's February of 2008 at 480,000 new houses for sale. These could be dirt lots, houses under construction, or completed houses. Very, very high levels compared to especially compared to pre-COVID levels. So 480,000 back in July of 2016, only 238. And zooming out over the past, several decades, we have the highest level since February of 2008. So I'd love to hear from you guys regarding today's video. My biggest takeaway is this giant decrease in pending sales, despite the fact we're seeing more inventory hitting the market. So if we see less contracts being signed, a low amount of sales as well, this will likely increase inventory further as more listings hit the market. This is my biggest takeaway. I actually was just like surprised somewhat to see we have all-time record lows for contracts being signed between buyers and sellers. And this again will all likely impact closed home sales in the next coming months. So we should see a very low level of closed home sales in the first half of this year. I would say a crash of home sales, to say the least. In any case, that's just my biggest takeaway. What's your biggest takeaway? Please leave me a comment below. Hope you guys got a lot of value out of today's video. This video took me quite a long time to do, but I enjoy making them, so go figure. Anyways, hope you guys have an awesome day, and we'll see you in the next video. I appreciate you.